Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I had a really busy weekend. We had travel ball, had to go to three days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, had to go to travel ball tournaments in 3 different towns for 1 game each day, which was ridiculous. It normally doesn't work that way. Normally you go to one city and you'll have a tournament in that city in maybe a few different locations pretty close, but not this weekend. It didn't work that way. So then we had Halloween, and we had to do that. And then yesterday I had a friend's birthday, and I went over and hung out at the friend's birthday for a lot of the day. So, and now we're going into an election week. There's a lot going on these days, but the good news is that travel ball season is over. And this week is our last week of Little League season for my youngest. So it's about to wrap it up. I'm looking forward to somewhat of a break for the holidays and being able to kind of stay around the house for the weekend. I'm kind of a homebody anyway, but I'm looking forward to a little bit of a break so we're not running all over the place. Now look at this. XRP Crypto Wolf. Ripple's whale count has spiked the past 6 months, with many in higher tier brackets of XRP held since April. XRP holdings have increased. These are people with 100,000 to 1 million XRP, 14,525 to 17,387. Those are the, I guess that's what people are considering whales now. And then 1 million to 10 people that hold 1 million to 10 million XRP. There's 1,307 to 1,336 whales, up 2.2%. Then 10 million plus XRP. 280 to 309 whales, up 10%. That, to me, this is a pretty good number right here. Why are all these wealthy people accumulating, folks? Why would they do that? Good question. I think that question answers itself, does it not? XRP Crypto Wolf also sent me this. Australia's central bank is partnering with Commonwealth Bank, National Australia Bank, and Consensus to explore the use of a wholesale CBDC using DLT. The project will be completed at the end of 2020, and a report will be issued during the first half of 2021. All right, I liked this tweet. I thought this was interesting from Esoteric XRP. XRP is a financial collapse imminent, and will XRP provide liquidity for a new financial system? If yes, and yes, then you'll probably be very wealthy. XLM, is the dollar going to collapse, and will the new dollar and other CBDCs ride on XLM? If yes, and yes, you'll be wealthy. I wanted to remind you something here. He talks about how if a financial collapse in XRP could provide liquidity. Well, that little statement reminded me of an old clip from Chris Larson many of you have probably never seen. Listen to this.
Is 10 years out on the financial crisis, we still don't have the infrastructure perhaps to prevent the next one. And I think this is where digital assets can really help, because an efficient digital asset can really solve some of the key problems in global liquidity. You know, the world's got trillions and trillions of dollars tied up in liquidity just to get around how clunky the movement of value is around the world. If with a really efficient digital asset, something like XRP, again, that's what we believe will be the most efficient, you can now reduce trillions and trillions of capital from being tied up. So you can make those transfers instantly as a bank or as a payment provider or as an enterprise without having to have money pre-positioned all over the world. So that's...
There you go. All right, let's see what I got here. Jonathan D. sent me this article from CoinDesk. China, listen to this. China should take part in creating global regulatory framework for digital currency. Is it Z says? I think Chairman Z, is that what they refer to their, what does he call his leader, dear leader? I don't know what they call him. But anyway, this right here is something that I've kind of felt like in the back of my mind for a long time. all we see is how it's like two separate things. You got the U.S. and you got China and then you got Russia, and it's always phrased. All these things, these relationships are always phrased in that we're all like enemies, and we're never on the same team. It's like them against us. We always see this, but you have to keep in mind there's a lot on the line with a lot of these countries. Everybody's got nuclear weapons. Everybody's got all this stuff. So I've never fully believed that we are so much at odds with China and Russia and all that. I've always felt like, especially with regard to digital assets, that we've been working with China and Russia all along because the stakes were so high and everybody in this new financial system stood to benefit. And I just don't believe that these people aren't talking. I believe they've been talking for a long time. And I believe that there's been a plan for a long time. This is just me talking. I can't prove that. I just think that the U.S. dollar is a world reserve currency. There's too much on the line. And I don't think for a second that the powers that run the world would have not all come to the table and come to some kind of agreement about how this new world order with currency goes forward, because there's too much on the line. There's too many ways that this could create wars and things like this. That's just me talking. But here's what he says. All of a sudden, the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, however you say that, we need to take advantage of the momentum and accelerate the digitalization of various fields, including our economy, society, and government, as well as proactively participate in creating the international regulatory framework on digital currency and digital tax, he said in a statement. So all this time, so what we're supposed to believe is that now, he says, we need to proactively participate in creating an international regulatory framework. What we're supposed to believe is, here he is, he's created this digital yuan, but they've never even considered this. They've never even thought until now about proactively participating. I don't believe that. That doesn't make sense to me. There's too much on the line. So, all the world's a stage, right? Okay. Hey, Seiko Carmona, I love saying his last name, Carmona, sent me this, even though I'm probably saying it wrong. This is from David Schwartz. He's talking about the Flare Spark token and the drop. And David Schwartz says, adding a memo key field for your account so that you can participate in the airdrop will not do anything to your XRP. It's safe to participate. Just make sure that the tool you use to configure your account is downloaded from a reliable source. And I have people asking me about this all the time, and I'm still in the same place, folks. I'm not moving my XRP anywhere. And here's the question that I have in my mind. Think about this for a minute. Now, I don't know that many people have thought about this with regard to this Flare thing. They're picking and choosing who can participate. They're saying that people that work at Ripple cannot participate. So if this thing's going to be so freaking valuable and such a great thing, Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse and all the people at Ripple that are these major holders of XRP, they don't even get any. But the other thing is that, like I told you a few weeks ago, Curve, who does the Curve, who is institutional custody, and they're not some small operation. Curve is one of the investors is the Digital Currency Group. Well, Curve is an institutional grade custody, and the iTrustCapital people are not going to be supporting it because Curve is their custody solution. And the conversation, the article they put up, the way I read things is that Curve has said that there's no demand from their institutional clients, or there's not anything significant enough for them to do a lot to. So my question is, why do the big money people not care about this? That's my question. And if they don't care about it, then why should I care about it? That's really what's going through my mind. Because, look, I've been in this for a long time, and I don't feel comfortable taking my XRP out of anything. I like keeping it where it is. And I'm just, if I want some Flare, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just go out on the market and buy some if I really want to have some. Or I might put a little bit of my XRP towards it, but I'm not sitting around stressing out about this Spark thing. I'm just not. And maybe I should be, but I'm not. maybe somebody can sell me on why I need this. So why, if it's going to come out, is it going to come out at $10 or is it going to come out? I'm thinking it's going to be coming out at below pennies, in which case, why not just leave my XRP where it is and buy some? I could probably get a whole bunch of it when it first comes out for practically nothing without it. See, that's my thing, is I don't know if there's anything risky about it. That's what's got me bothered. Okay. All right. Moving along. But, I can't even remember if I read what he said. Yeah. Okay. I did. Adding a memo key field for your accounts. You can participate. And he said, just make sure you're downloading from a reliable source. Okay. All right. Michael at VAL5 links. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, in coordination with the European Central Bank and International Monetary Fund, is preparing to roll out central bank digital currencies. The globalist IMF recently called for a new Bretton Woods moment. And this is a Zero Hedge article. And I want to show you this for a couple of reasons. First, when you start seeing people like Zero Hedge picking up on what we've been talking about for 2 years, it's a pretty big deal, because that means this thing. Now remember, for 2 years we saw Brad Garlinghouse hanging out with the IMF and hanging out with the BIS and Christine Lagarde and all these, and he was saying these words. He was saying New World Order, and he was talking the talk like this. And now here 2 years later, now Brad Garlinghouse is not out with meeting with them, almost as if everything's already set in motion. He's not out there meeting with the IMF and having all these meetings. And now we're starting to see articles come out about how this is going down. Okay. The end game. This is on Zero Hedge. I wanted to read you the end of this. Okay. Right here. It says, under central bank digital currency, direct credits and debits could replace stimulus checks and taxes. It would be the vehicle through which modern monetary theory could be fully implemented, with the central bank becoming tax collector and funder of all government operations. If depreciating the value of the currency through the inflation tax wasn't enough, the Fed could also stick dollar holders with a direct tax in the form of negative interest rates. Once paper notes are phased out, holding cash itself would no longer be a way for individuals to escape negative rates. The only escape hatches would be volatile alternative digital currencies such as Bitcoin or hard money, gold and silver. Under a monetary order where electronic digits representing currency can be created out of thin air in unlimited quantities, the best hedge is the opposite: tangible, scarce, untraceable wealth held off the financial grid. So they're making the case for precious metals, but they also mention Bitcoin. So bottom line is, the digital assets that have a scarce amount would be in heavy demand. That's what we've been here all along for, right? All right. Jeff Sutton sent me, Jeff Sutton twice sent me this, okay? Meet Michelle Bond, the new DC power broker for crypto on Wall Street. I was reading through this article. We talked about the other day about how she had left Ripple, and I was reading through this article, and this grabbed me right here. It says, we look forward to Michelle leveraging her expertise to guide us through a rapidly changing landscape, grow our membership, and launch exciting new strategic initiatives that help our members stay ahead of breaking developments in digital asset regulation, said Mike Novogratz, CEO of Galaxy Digital. Michelle's appointment serves as further evidence that Atom, which is the organization, will be the group that finally tames crypto for Wall Street. And here's what's interesting about this to me is, first they're quoting Mike Novogratz. So I said, okay, well, his organization must be involved in this. So I went to the Atom website, and here's the Atom members. And if you don't already know, there's at least 2 or 3 that jump off the page for me as Bitcoin maxi type organizations. Genesis is I'm sorry, not Genesis. What is the Winkle? I'm drawing a blank on the Winklevoss brothers thing. Is there's Genesis or is that? Yeah, I think that's what theirs is. Anyway, BlockFi that's a Bitcoin because I know that Anthony Pompliano is involved with BlockFi, and he is Bitcoin maxi all the way. I also know that BitGo is backed by Goldman Sachs, and they, to my knowledge, have been, you can see in their symbol that they're Bitcoin guys. And I'm pretty sure, I know Galaxy Digital is, and I know that I'm pretty sure that Cumberland also, that's a DRW company. So it's a Tim Draper company. We know because I asked Tim Draper that he owns XRP as well, but he's also a major Bitcoin proponent, and that's most of what he talks about. Okay. So anyway, my point is that Michelle Bond seems to have jumped off of the Ripple ship onto a Bitcoin ship, which makes me curious. So anyway, I'm wondering if that organization is as a whole anti-XRP and is for the purpose of promoting Bitcoin or what. XRP Wizard says Cayman Islands announces legal framework in bid to attract crypto businesses. The Cayman Islands, an autonomous British overseas territory in the Caribbean, is building a regulatory framework for virtual asset service providers. So this is a big deal for many of you may or may not know, but at least for the last, say, 20 years, the Cayman Islands has been notorious for as a place for wealthy people to go and stash their money. I think it's a tax haven, more or less. And so when you see them getting their regulatory framework in line, you can be assured that they smell the money. And that's why they're doing it. Okay, PTS. In fact, many of you may remember, if you remember, there was a movie, who wrote that book? It was a movie with Tom Cruise in it. The book was The Firm, and John Grisham, the author, actually, I think he became famous from The Firm originally. That was his book that really hit big. That was the first one that really hit big, as I recall. Well, in the movie The Firm, Tom Cruise plays the main character, Mitchell McDeere, I believe was his name, and he gets a job with a law firm in Memphis, Tennessee, and one thing leads to another, and he finds out that the law firm is the mafia. It's run by the mafia, and they were sending him on trips to the Cayman Islands, and they were literally probably hiding money down in the Cayman Islands. And so that's when you see the Cayman Islands getting involved in this type of thing, you know they're expecting some big money to come into this. That's my point in bringing that up, because it's a tax haven down there. All right. PTS sent me this. CoinDesk, over 4 million transactions totaling more than 2 billion yuan, 299 million have been conducted using the digital yuan, according to the chief of China's central bank. And then we have this from Michael at VAL5 Leaks. The chief investment officer of one of the largest crypto asset managers in the world says the bigwigs have officially accepted cryptocurrency, currency as a valid asset to allocate, and it's just about to snowball. Here's the article. This is interesting. This is the guy from Bitwise, Matt Hofen. I don't know if I'm saying that. Hogan. Maybe that's how his name is. And Laura Shin, who interviewed him, and here's a couple of quotes from him. You're just seeing a massive maturation of the crypto market. It's now acceptable for institutional and professional investors to allocate. And that's being driven by improvements in custody, improvements in trading, big improvements in regulation, and then some proof of concept development like what we saw in the DeFi market. So it's just the perfect market for people to allocate. You have these couple of big catalysts, and I think we're in the early innings of this happening. I think it's going to snowball from here. Then he goes on, he says it's been huge. The customer base when we launched in 2017 was primarily high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals who were looking for an easy way to get exposure to all, or at least part of the majority of crypto asset market. That's really shifted. Those people are still allocating in Bitwise, but the driver of the inflows that led to the $100 million mark is hedge funds and financial advisors. And particularly financial advisors couldn't have really allocated 2 years ago. 2 years ago, there were no regulated and insured custodians in the market. Just a few months ago, Bloomberg's senior commodities strategist came out and said that Bitcoin could trade to 100,000. And now you have JP Morgan saying it could easily 2 times or 3 times. If millennials crowd out gold, and it could 10 times if it replaced and mixed it. There were price targets that people were expounding on crypto maybe in 2017 and were getting laughed out of the room by traditional Wall Street. Now it's traditional Wall Street that is recognizing the potential size of this market. You're going to see every other major institution follow suit. They now have to. It's sort of table stakes. What have I said on this channel for over 2 years now, folks? Not some of them are coming, but all of them are coming. And it's all the money. All of the financial people are coming, and all they've needed was they needed a way to make money. And what he's really saying right here when he says these, he was talking about the financial advisors. 2 years ago, there were no regulated and insured custodians in the market. Well, also 2 years ago, they didn't have a way to get paid. It's all about getting paid in that world, folks. It's about the money. It always has been about the money. Now, last thing I wanted to show you from Riz XRP, go live, #0doubt. Here's a tweet from Gold Telegraph. Boom. Here's a chart directly from Deutsche Bank. Go to page 15. A new monetary system is coming. And this, we've seen a chart similar to this before, I think. But if you look right here, you can see what is in the process of happening. And I'll tell you what's interesting about this. What's interesting is notice that this timeline more or less goes 2020 to 2025. Well, what else goes 2020 to 25? Remember that Everest document that I keep showing you over and over? The official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, he tells me all the time that's his favorite document. He said that's when the lights went on for him. It's not a coincidence that these timelines are matching up, folks. There are no coincidences. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that there are no coincidences. And this is about all of the money. Thanks for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.